Hello everyone, it's Judy here at Janet's Floral Design, and this morning I am surrounded by plants that are great for hummingbirds. And so today's daily dive is actually going to be about hummingbirds, and we want to give you some ideas and some suggestions about things that you can plant, but also feeders that you can use that will hopefully give you the best success in drawing hummingbirds to your backyard. And believe it or not, hummingbirds are already starting to move through our area. I had a customer this last week tell me about one that zoomed right in front of her face. And so now is the time to get those hummingbird feeders out. So maybe you've never fed before, or maybe your feeder's getting a little old. So I'm going to show you a few feeders first, and then we'll talk about a few plants. Before I do that, though, I want to make mention that this Thursday night at 6, Jason Larson from the Gorman Nature Center will be here to talk about attracting hummingbirds and orioles. And the time to think about orioles is right now as well. And so he'll be here to talk about feeders and plants and that kind of thing. A little bit longer version than what you're going to get here this morning. So that is at 6. If you would like to come, please call us and we'll get you registered for that. Our number is 419-529-9739. We will also post it on Facebook, so you'll have the opportunity to watch there, but not quite the same as being in the store. And we have plenty of space to space people out, although the class size probably will be limited to around 20. All right, so what kind of feeders would you use for hummingbirds? And obviously, the biggest thing is the feeder has to have a small hole. And if it's too big, then you'll get other critters or other things coming to that. So the hole size is important. It's just a little tiny hole. Another thing to keep in mind is something that's easy to clean. And so one like this, easy to clean and easy to fill. So this has a nice wide jar, and this pops apart. Usually and you pop it apart and you throw it in the dishwasher, so it just makes for easy cleaning. And then you would use a little brush like this one, and you would push that down in the holes, and that keeps the mold from growing in your feeder. Another thing to think about when you are choosing a hummingbird feeder is one that won't leak. And so this is Dr. JB's feeder, and it's probably the one we've sold the most over the last several years, simply because even in the wind, it isn't going to leak. It's just designed that way. And so that prevents not ants, but bees and wasps, yellow jackets later on in the season, from really causing havoc at your feeder. So that is just something important to remember. I have a few other examples. This is a little bit larger version. If you have a lot of hummingbirds, then this might be something that you might consider. And then these are just a little bit prettier ones. And I don't know that this one's going to leak a whole lot. I think it would probably be fine. Same with this one. These are more ones you might consider as a gift. And then this one this style is a typical hummingbird feeder that you might see. It of course doesn't leak because they're accessing it from the top, not the side, so that helps. And there are bee guards that you could also incorporate if you started to have trouble. This one is also easy to clean. The top pops off. It comes with a little brush. I don't see the one, but it does come with one. It also has a tiny ant moat in the center, which you fill with water and prevents the ants from getting in your feeder. So that's a good option. And then you can use something like this. This is a guard, a rain guard it's considered, and it keeps your feeder from getting pummeled by the rain and then flooded by the rain. And my sister-in-law was having trouble with that, and she bought one of these, and it is helping. So that is something that you can use to prevent that. This is an ant moat, and probably one of the things we sell the most of here, especially in the spring, besides plants, of course. And that is because it prevents ants from getting in your feeder. So you hang your feeder from it, you fill this with water, and then the ant comes down the hook, hits the water, and cannot get to your feeder. And so If you struggle with ants, this is an easy solution and an inexpensive one. All right, so those are some feeders. And then there are plants. So if you have a yard that has no plants in it and you just hang out a feeder, you're going to struggle to get hummingbirds because they need food from the wild or from nature. And so the best way to attract a hummer is not just with the feeder, but with plants as well. So you've got to create a habitat that they will like or enjoy. And the more flowers you have that attract them or that they can get nectar from, the more likelihood that you'll not just attract one hummer, but more than one. So I've surrounded, Mackenzie and I surrounded me with plants that you can use for hummingbirds, and I'm just going to quickly name them. So this is a newer plant for us, but it is called an African mallow, and it's similar to a hibiscus, only smaller. They would love this. And then over on this side is a flowering maple, again similar to a hibiscus, not the same, but a nice tubular shaped flower that the hummingbirds would like. This is a columbine, again a hummingbird favorite. This is a coreopsis that's just started blooming. These are perennials. This is a type of salvia that is not a perennial, but over here is a salvia that is a perennial. And again, you've got these tubular shaped flowers. You can really see that with this blue penstemon. And again, they don't have to be red. Often we think of hummingbird plants as being red, and they are drawn to red, but they're also drawn to the shape of the flower. And so if it's a tubular shape, you have a really good chance of them coming. Down below, we've got a couple hanging baskets that are great for hummingbirds. And this one has this red verbena. And verbena is definitely one that hummingbirds like as well as butterflies. And then this is a new item for us. It is called a plant stick hummingbird feeder. And you just put it right in your planter. So if you're looking for a hummingbird basket, but you want to really ramp that up a bit, you can put this little plant stick hummingbird feeder. The top comes off and you fill that with nectar. Put that back on, and you can put that in either a hanging basket or even a container garden, and that will draw them even more into that particular planter. Down here is a candy cane verbena, and that would be something that would attract them. And they're also attracted to geraniums, maybe not quite as much as some other things, but they are attracted to those also. Here's a red, an orange and yellow cali basket, which would be an attraction to them. On the floor is some honeysuckle, not blooming yet, but they love that. And then the weigela in the red and the pink with that tubular shaped flower is perfect, again, for hummingbirds. And those are more of an early spring bloomer. They're blooming a little earlier than they would out in your yard just because of being grown in the greenhouse. But those would be great for getting them when they're moving through and just kind of settling in. And then this is another hanging basket with verbena and the purple petunia. And then over here, there's a cali with those bright colors. And so all of those are great. There are two other plants back here kind of hiding, and they're not blooming, but they tend to be hummingbird magnets. This one is called bee balm, and they love bee balm, and particularly in red. This one's purple, but they like it too, as well as other pollinators. And then this one is actually called hummingbird mint, and it's called that simply because hummingbirds really like it. It's a type of agastache, and there are other colors. This one happens to be an orange color, but agastache comes in several other colors, and it's called hummingbird mint because they love it. So that gives you some ideas. Another favorite is lobelia, and I don't have any of that right now, the perennial type of lobelia, and we will have that though fairly soon. So if you would like a list of plants that are great for hummingbirds and butterflies, we have a list and we can give you one of those. You just need to stop in and ask for that. We also will have a sign that you could snap a picture of, and that will give you a list to go by as well. So hopefully that answers some questions or gives you some ideas of what you can do to your yard to bring hummingbirds. And we would be glad to answer any other questions or give you some direction if you need it. Just stop on out. And we are open right now. We're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday 9 to 3. And actually this next Wednesday on the, I believe it's the 22nd, will be our first Wednesday to be open. And we'll be open from 9 to 5 that day too. So we hope to see you out soon. Thanks so much for tuning in, and you have a great day. Bye.